I'm Rob from Barefoot Gaming, and this is our Space Battle VR review. So Space Battle VR is exactly what it sounds like. It is a space battle simulator. The meat and potatoes of the game is a story mode, so there are 10 different levels that you go through. There's also a battle mode, which is just kind of like getting into individual battles. But the primary game is a story mode from level 1 through level 10. There are multiple kinds of ships you can unlock. There's different kinds of interiors, different kinds of weapon loadouts, so different kinds of your primary weapon, your secondary weapon, which is usually a missile of some sort. Your controllers, you'll use your trigger to shoot. You'll use your secondary button. I think on the Vive, it's the trackpad. It's the A button, if I'm remembering correctly, on the Rift. And then your grip, or B, I think it is on Rift, will let you choose which vehicle you're locking onto. And this is available on the HTC Vive, the Oculus Rift, and although it doesn't list Windows Mixed Reality support, it does work, although there's a couple of small glitches. For example, your hands don't show up. Now, why does it matter if your hands show up or not? Well, the way you control your ship is your right hand will hold the control stick, so you just move it over to the area when you look down at where the control stick is and it'll latch on. Your left hand is your throttle, so you move to the throttle area and it'll latch on, and you just move them around like you would for real. If you want to let go, you kind of have to jerk or move your hand far enough away that it'll disengage. But it's different than most spaceflight games. Well, it's different than any spaceflight games that I've tried so far. Now, what am I forgetting? Okay, single player only, seated mode, and I think that is pretty much everything. Now, let's get to the review. This thing goes for $17.49 Canadian. That's about 15 US, 15 pounds for my UK friends. And pros, cons, let's list them off and let's score this game. Now, pros, it looks quite nice. It looks quite polished for how small a developing group it was that made this. The way the words come across the screen, it's got kind of like an anime feel to it. So that's fine. When everything is working properly, it feels really neat just moving your hand on a virtual joystick. And that's where con's gonna come in. Now, it doesn't always work. I would say it works about 85, maybe even 90% of the time. So when you jerk the stick to the front and right to do like a spin down, most of the time it'll work. Sometimes it won't. Sometimes it'll be stuck in the left. And I was questioning whether that was my setup. Like, was it possible that I was blocking sensors? But it didn't matter how I stood. Sometimes the controls just aren't going to work properly. And based on a flight sim or a space flight sim, that's quite important. So that's a pretty big hit. Usually it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm gonna list a con as the fact that it's short. Now, when I say 10 levels, and there's multiple difficulty levels, so realistically you could play it through it again, but on normal difficulty, it took me a little better than an hour to beat the 10 levels. So I'm gonna kind of let you judge whether you think the game is worth his asking price based on the length of time. And aside from that, I don't really know what else there is. He did a pretty good job for shooting. The aiming is a little weird. Like, there's no reticle. So when you're aiming at an enemy ship, if they're flying all over the place, you gotta kind of keep it like above dead center, and then your ship will auto aim, which is a good thing. I think you can turn it off, but you'll want to leave it on. Same with your missiles. And it kind of feels a little loose. Like your shots will just be kind of following. The missiles I can understand because they lock on, which brings me to another thing which I'm just thinking of. Now there's planets, there's asteroids, there's all sorts of things, and if you bounce into them, you won't blow your ship up. You're just gonna kind of bounce off like a rubber ball, really, and then you'll do a little bit of a spin. But it took me away from it because I didn't feel any danger when I was flying close to surfaces. And same with enemy ships. They'd be bouncing off of asteroids or bouncing off of planets, and it'd be like, well, you know, that it looks nice, but it's like, that feels a little ridiculous. So that's gonna be a con listed here as well. The game is still fun. I don't know that I recommend it, and I don't know that I don't. I don't recommend it at his asking price right now. If you're looking for a fun space shooter, this is maybe something that I would say pick up on sale. I'm not gonna say disregard it, but know what you're getting going into it. And that is it. That's the review. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I will do my best to answer. Share. We love it when you guys share our videos, and it gets it out to places that we haven't even thought of. Subscribe if you want to know when our stuff's coming out. I appreciate the heck out of all of our viewers. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you again real soon. See ya.